What's going on, my friends? Welcome back to another Prize Picks video. My name's CJ, and in today's video, I've got two Prize Picks plays that we're going to be taking a look at on the Prize Picks board, continuing to try to capture some of that early value before it slips away. It's also Flex Friday, which means we get a protected play later on today. So if you're not playing on Prize Picks yet, use code Curry, make that first deposit. They're going to match you dollar for dollar, making your first entry on Prize Picks completely risk-free. I've left a special link for you down in the description of today's video. Use code Curry, make that first deposit, and get an instant deposit match all the way up to 100 smackaroos. All right, without further ado, let's get into today's Prize Picks plays. Whew. There's a lot of value out there on the Prize Picks board right now. The couple picks that I went with here, couple of superstars. Let's be honest here. Devon Booker at 7.5 assists, and we also got Kristaps Porzingis at 16.5 points. Which way do we want to go on these? Well, let's dive in, and we'll figure that out together. Starting with Devon Booker here at 7.5 assists. First and foremost, we want to make sure that this is a plus EV play. What does plus EV mean? It means positive expected value. In other words, is the juice on our side? Are the odds in our favor? And in this case, we have a tool here that will help us with that. And it's called the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Now, when we go and take a look at the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, what it does is it goes out and scans all the different sports books out there, and then it looks at the odds on these picks. And it basically gives us true odds or fair odds of a player prop hitting for us. And in this case, Devon Booker at 7.5 assists, we've got about a 54.3% chance of Devon Booker staying under 7.5 assists today. You're seeing odds of minus 151 under 7.5 on a sports book like Pinnacle, which many in the industry regard as the most sharpest sports book that there is in the world. So minus 151 to go under 7.5 assists out on Pinnacle is pretty good news. And then you take a look at some of the other more domestic sports books like FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, etc. All the odds, all the juice is coming in on the under for Devon Booker at 7.5 dimes. So it's a plus EV play for the under. Now we go take a look at Devon Booker's game logs here on props.cash. If you're not using props.cash and you want to check it out and save 25% off of your very first month, I've left a link for you down in the description of today's video. Use code Curry, save that 25% off on your first month. Looking at Devon Booker at 7.5 assists this season, only 13 out of 31 times has he gone over 7.5 assists. He's averaging 7.8 for the season, but that hit rate is just 42%. Now, when we take a look at Devon Booker on the road, things get a little bit more red, a little bit more ugly, meaning he's been failing to go over 7.5 assists when he's playing away from Phoenix. We take a look at the hit rates here. 4 out of 13 times he has gone over, and he hasn't gone over in a really long time when playing on the road. That's just a 31% hit rate and only a 7.3 assists per game average. Now, one other thing that we could do to kind of take our research a step further using props.cash is we could go down here and we could add or remove players. And so we're going to add Jusuf Nurkic, Kevin Durant, Grayson Allen, and Bradley Beal because those are the expected starters sitting alongside Devon Booker. And when we take a look at the games Devon Booker has played with those 4 players alongside of him, well, you got 3 out of 8 hit rate. That's just 38%, 7.1 assists per game. And again, when we go and look at the away splits, Devon Booker on the road is 0 for 3. 0 for 3 with Nurkic, Durant, Allen, and Beal by his side. 5 assists against the Clippers, 5 against the Lakers, and 7 assists against the Portland Trail Blazers. So he's 0 for 3 on the road with that starting 5. Now, take a look at the matchup here. The New Orleans Pelicans, as far as assists allowed per game, 26.8 assists allowed to opposing teams. That's 16th, so they're kind of middle of the pack. They're not giving up a ton. They're also not limiting opposing teams to very few assists as well. So as far as the overall assists per game, the matchup is kind of a neutral matchup. Now we can take this a step further by looking at the DVP, defense versus position. And we're looking at the last 7 games to get a more recent sample size here. And when you scroll all the way down to the very bottom, we're looking at point guards, assists per game versus the New Orleans Pelicans. You can see that the Pelicans are really not giving up all that many assists per game. In fact, As far as assists per game goes, they're one of the more stingier teams in the league, giving up just 9.3 assists per game to opposing point guards. But I don't know, if you consider Devin Booker the point guard, the shooting guard, we'll also take a look at the shooting guard. Shooting guards against the New Orleans Pelicans, they're limiting shooting guards to just 3.5 assists per game. So between Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, it's kind of hard to tell who's the point guard, who's the shooting guard. They both have a lot of ball handling responsibilities and duties. Obviously, Devin Booker handling the ball a little bit more than Bradley Beal. But nonetheless, when you kind of combine both point guard and shooting guard positions, they're just not giving up a lot of assists per game to guards in general. And to top it all off, we had some pretty favorable projections when I was out here looking over on Fantasy Labs. So we'll go to the assist category. We'll type in Devin Booker's name. Fantasy Labs has him projected for just 6.9 assists, putting him under 7.5 assists by quite a bit. Closer to 7 assists than 8 assists. Obviously, if he has 8 or more dimes, we're in trouble. This pick does not hit if he has 8 or more, but the projection models here on Fantasy Labs have him going under 7 assists. So we like that projection. We're also going to check a second projection. In this case, we're looking at RotoWire, another one of my favorite projection sites and tools. When we pop open Devin Booker's assist game card here, you can see that he's projected for just 6.99 dimes. So they like him to have about 7 assists today going up against this tough New Orleans Pelicans team. So the lean would be toward the under on Devin Booker. So that's what you got there for Devin Booker at 7.5 assists. I'd be taking him for less than that number. If you feel differently, if you feel some type of way about it, well, then reverse it. I don't know. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll defy the odds. You'll defy the projections. You'll defy the hit rates, and maybe he'll go for 8 or more assists. I don't know. Go crazy. That's totally up to you. Looking at the second pick, we got Kristaps Porzingis at 16.5 points. Once again, let's go over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, and we don't have to go very far here because Kristaps Porzingis at 16.5 points is the #1 play at 1:45 a.m. Eastern time here on Friday morning. He's the #1 top optimal play on the optimizer. 54.4% chance that Kristaps Porzingis is going to have 17 or more points going up against the Denver Nuggets. Taking a look at some of the sportsbook data here. Pinnacle -165 betting favorite to go over 16.5 points. You've even got him at 17.5 points over here on FanDuel. FanDuel says, hey, 16.5 is way too low. All you other sports books, y'all better get in line because 17.5 is where FanDuel lines makers think that Kristaps Porzingis line should be set, meaning 17 to 18 points is a potential outcome for KP6 tonight, taking on Nikola Jokic and this Denver Nuggets team. So we like the juice. We like the fact that a lot of these sports books have him at 17.5 as well. Now also, let's take a look at the game logs here because we got a lot of green game logs here for Kristaps Porzingis at 16.5 points. This season, he's played 30 games. In 20 out of 30 games, he has gone over this number, averaging 19.1 points per game. That's a pretty impressive 67% hit rate, gang. Normally, I'm happy with 60%, but we're getting almost a 70% hit rate, meaning for every 3 games that he plays, he goes over in 2 out of 3 on average. Now, where things get even better here is when Kristaps Porzingis is playing at home. So let's take a look at the home game logs for KP6. He's played a total of 13 games at Boston. 10 out of 13 times he has gone over this number of 16.5 points. That is a 77% hit rate. 19.1 point per game average for Kristaps Porzingis. So you got to love what you're seeing here for Porzingis. Now, if you want to take things a step further, again, with props.cash, you can add Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White to the mix. Now, that's the projected starting 5 for the Boston Celtics tonight. When you do that, you get a total of 21 games where Porzingis has played alongside of those fellas, and he's gone over in 14 out of 21 games. 67% hit rate, still sitting right around 19 points per game at an 18.9 point per game average. And then again, you go over here to the home splits, and you still get a very impressive 9 out of 12 hit rate, 75%, and he's averaging 17.8 points per game. All right, points per game. Now, the Denver Nuggets as a team, as a whole, they do a pretty good job at limiting opposing teams in the points department. They rank 7th overall, giving up the 7th fewest points per game to opposing teams. But what really caught my eye was the DVP in this case. So we're going to look at the last 7 games. Centers going against the Denver Nuggets in the last 7 games have feasted see Joel Embiid for further evidence and proof here. Now, I know Kristaps Porzingis is not Joel Embiid. I wouldn't put them in the same class or category. But the facts are that Kristaps Porzingis is going to be your starting center for the Boston Celtics unless some unforeseen situation arises. So Denver giving up almost 30 points per game to opposing centers. This is a very good matchup for Kristaps Porzingis in this case. So I really like the points at just 16.5. I think this ends up getting bumped to 17, maybe even 17.5 by the time tip-off comes around. Now, we've got the plus EV stuff out of the way. We got the hit rates out of the way. Let's take a look at those projections for Kristaps Porzingis. And we're going to go back to Fantasy Labs for this one, taking a look at the points category here. Simply just punch in Kristaps Porzingis' name, and you got 18.1 projected points, a very healthy projection. Again, we only need 17 for the over to hit. In this case, he's projected for even higher than that at 18.1. And then we slide back over to RotoWire, and we take a look at the projection for Porzingis over on RW. We scroll down just a little bit, pop open this player projection card, and you see he's projected for a nice 18.48 projected points. What's there not to love here, my friends? The projection models like Porzingis, the hit rates are good. It's a plus EV play. The matchup DVP is good. So for me, I'm going to be taking the more on Kristaps Porzingis at 16.5, and I think that makes for a nice little two-pick power play, or if you want to take these two picks and you want to add them to a larger entry size, maybe you go for a 5-pick or a 6-pick flex. Get crazy, get creative, do what you want to do with your money. It's totally up to you. There's so many different ways that you can play these over on PrizePicks. And before you go, if you're looking for a kick butt community, guys, Dub Club's available for you. We got the Eyes on the Prize Discord that I run. We got a great group of people over there who are sharing their favorite picks, props, and parlays each and every day. So if you're looking for a community that's family friendly, that's good natured, it's not toxic, hey, think about joining. I've pinned the comment down in the comment section and below for you guys to go and check it out. Once again, I appreciate you joining me. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you've hit that notification bell so that you're alerted anytime I drop a new video. And do me a big favor, hit the like button on your way out. Guys, good luck on all your picks, plays, and parlays. We'll catch you in the very next video. Peace out and happy Friday.